What's up guys, today we're making a traditional Japanese gyoza. They're crispy on the outside with a juicy meat and veggie filling that's sure to always be a crowd pleaser. Let's get into it. We're starting with a pound of Napa cabbage, which we're going to finely shred so that it fits evenly in our filling. Take your time to really shred the cabbage well to avoid having any large pieces in our filling. Once shredded, scoop the cabbage into a bowl and sprinkle 2 teaspoons of kosher salt right over top. We're going to massage the salt into the cabbage with our hands to help draw out some moisture. Once the salt is evenly incorporated, we're going to set that aside for 15 minutes. While the cabbage is resting, let's prep our other ingredients for the filling. We're going to begin by finely mincing 4 scallions, using both the greens and the whites. Make sure to really mince the whites of the scallion so that there aren't any big chunks in our filling. Next, we need 2 teaspoons of minced ginger, which is about a 1-inch nub of ginger, and 4 teaspoons of minced garlic, which is around 4 small cloves of garlic. With our veggies prepped, let's go check on the cabbage. Grab a clean kitchen towel and place the salted cabbage right in the middle. Wrap it up and wring out as much liquid as you can. Really put some effort into this step to get the cabbage as dry as you can. You'll be surprised by how much water is released from the cabbage as you wring it out. Once you've got as much water as you can out of the cabbage, we're going to transfer it into a mixing bowl and add our minced scallions, garlic, and ginger, as well as 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, a teaspoon of black pepper, a tablespoon of brown sugar, and a pound of ground pork shoulder. Make sure to use pork shoulder or pork butt, as the fat content is what makes our filling juicy. If you use a leaner cut of pork like pork loin, the filling is going to be dry and tough. You can mix everything together with a wooden spoon, but I like to use my hands to really work the mixture together, ensuring everything is evenly distributed. With our filling prepped, it's time to assemble. Here I have a package of dumpling wrappers, which you can find at most Asian markets. These babies dry out quickly, so make sure to cover them with a damp towel to prevent them from drying out as we fold our gyoza. To begin, we're going to dip our fingers into a small bowl of water and run them around the edge of the wrapper. This is going to act as a glue, keeping our dumpling sealed. Next, place about a tablespoon of filling in the center of the wrapper and gently flatten it with your fingers. To fold the gyoza, bring the edges of the wrapper together to form a half-moon shape. Then use your left thumb to hold one side steady while your right thumb creates pleats by folding and pressing the edges of the wrapper together. We're aiming for about 5 to 7 pleats for that classic look. Once all the pleats are made, gently apply pressures to the edges to make sure it's fully sealed. Again, all I'm doing is using my left thumb to hold down one side steady, while the right thumb creates pleats by folding and pressing the edges together. If pleating feels tricky, you can simply press the edges together to seal the gyoza, creating a half-moon shape. They won't look super fancy, but they're still going to taste great. Repeat this process until all the filling is used, and then we're going to place them onto a separate sheet pan. This recipe makes about 40 gyoza, so if you don't plan to make them all today, freeze them on a sheet pan for 30 minutes and then transfer them into a Ziploc bag. They will keep in the freezer for about 3 months. Now it's time to pan fry our gyoza. Heat 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil in a non-stick pan, followed by a few dashes of sesame oil. Now arrange the gyoza flat side down in the pan and ensure they don't touch. Move them around a little bit to make sure they aren't sticking to the bottom, and then we're going to cook them for about 2 minutes or until the bottoms are golden brown. After that, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of water to the pan and immediately cover it to steam the gyoza. Let them steam for about 3 minutes if you're using fresh gyoza, and 6 minutes if you're doing this from frozen. After that, we're going to remove the lid and let the remaining water evaporate. Once the water is gone, we're going to make sure the gyoza isn't sticking, and then we're going to let them cook for an additional minute. Once done, they should have a crispy bottom and the dumpling wrappers should be fully cooked. Now we're going to remove them from the pan and set them aside while we make our dipping sauce. For the sauce, we're going to combine a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, a 1/2 cup of rice vinegar, a 1/4 teaspoon of sesame seeds, a tablespoon of minced scallion greens, and a few dashes of sesame oil. I also added a 1/4 teaspoon of gochugaru, but that's optional. I just like a little heat in my sauce. Then to round out the sauce, I added 2 teaspoons of sugar and a 1/4 cup of water. Set that aside and let's go check on our gyoza. They came out perfectly golden brown, and just listen to how crispy they are. These are great to make ahead of time, so you always have some stocked in your freezer for whenever you're craving some gyoza. For that perfect bite, I like to dip them into our sauce and then go for it. Just look how packed they are with that flavorful pork filling. I'm gonna go grab a Sapporo and finish these in the back, but if you give this recipe a try, let me know how it turned out in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.